guests today have a lot in common. They are both leaders from the live events industry, both reside in Ottawa, both known to be the life of a party, both personal friends of mine, and last but not least, they both live under the same roof. You know them as Jen from Meetings Calgary and Brent from Encore. It's time to illuminate the Beatties.
Right. And Mary Frances, don't tell me about your university experiences because I just dropped mine off. I'm on day 5.
Me too.
Yes, I saw that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing though. She's gonna have such a great time. I'm glad she's going in person too. Like, it's so nice to see.
Me too. Tim, is yours in person?
Yes. Yeah. She's at Trent in Peterborough.
Yeah. It's sad to see them go, but it's exciting to see.
How many? You guys have four kids between you all, right? Five.
We have my eldest is 26. He just started his second year at McGill in person, and then he found out a couple of weeks ago it was all going to be online. So he managed to switch one class. So he's got at least one in person, which is good. So then we have 3 18-year-olds and then a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So 3 from me, the twins and the eldest, and then Brooklyn and Cooper from Jen. Yeah.
So pretty soon you guys are going to have the empty nest, right?
Yeah.
When I dropped my daughter off, we drove away. And
Brent's happy.
And I
saw that.
That's where I was leading in. We were driving away from dropping my daughter off, and my wife said, "You're quiet. Like, what's going through your head? Are you sad?" And I said, "No, I'm thinking 1 down, 2 to go."
Oh my God, I was the complete opposite, Tim. I was like choking up, and I was in the back seat. My mom and dad came down. We did a whole weekend, and I'm not even going to get into it because I'll probably start to cry again. But it really kind of hit home, like it's 18 years gone like that.
Yeah, don't compare yourself to Tim. He's kind of heartless.
And I think it depends if you're dropping off your daughter or your son. I remember when my parents dropped me off, my dad legitimately wanted to stay. He's like, "No, I'll stay a couple nights. Just make sure you're okay." He was like getting ready to party and reliving his university days. My mom was like totally distraught.
Yeah. Well, it was like reliving. It was neat to have my mom there because it was like reliving what my mother went through when she put me on the plane to go to Disney World. So I went away there for a year, and just my mom was giving me some good advice. Like, you've done a good job if you can actually watch them walk away. And
wait, did you go to university at Disney World?
I was going to say Disney and university, a little different.
U of D.
It's like running away to the circus.
Well, I did. I took theme park management while I was
Really?
there. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's still some of the best training I've ever had. And, for only being, 29, it's still the best training I've ever had.
Theme park management, really?
Yeah. It's a whole cultural experience and everything. It's terrific. Like
What do you still, in your career now, many years later, what do you still take from that experience?
Oh, customer service by far. And it's the whole, we're talking about the whole experiential stuff now, and that's Disney did that ages ago. Mm-hmm. And that I took a lot of that away. And the fact that they can make or break, a client can make or break you by their experience they've had there, because we know how social media and that can work and stuff like that. You tell maybe 2 people of such a great experience, and then you tell about 40 of a bad experience.
Now, Brent, over to you. Tell us what you've transferred from your band days over to the AV world. What are the takeaways from your days as a rock star?
Well, you certainly learn to pack a van well when you're trying to fit a whole band into a van. And then you go into AV, and then you're like, okay, I got to do this. And how do I fit all these cases in the living Tetris? But it's funny just to go back to the Disney story, because Jen has told me, I've got to listen to her tell a few key stories a few times. And one of the things that I really like that she took away from that really so applies today is it's the little things that make the difference as an experience. And that doesn't matter whether you're in a punk rock band and you do a shout out to somebody in the audience who you can tell is really into what you're doing, or you're dealing with a client who's stressed about something, and especially nowadays in the virtual world, where I think from our side, the biggest thing that I've seen clients get challenged with is that, unlike in a live event where they can see what's going on, they can see the orchestrated chaos, if you will, And so they can go, okay, look, if there's a problem, and look, there can always be a little problem, but if there's a problem, they can see that Joe's working on it and Sam's working on it and Judy's working on it. In the virtual world, most of the time they're not there. And so as one client said, it's like I'm in a black box and I don't know what I'm doing.
You're right. It's even more so in the digital space because people can't see that there are people working on the problem. It's
exactly.
The planner's blind in that situation, right?
Yeah, 100%.
One of the biggest challenges I find with virtual, and I'd love to get your take on that, Brent, is that, and it's something that actually Miguel Neves said a long time ago in a conference, and it always stuck with me, was that normally with an event, the event is the host and the participants are the guests, versus in a virtual world, the participants are the hosts and the event is the guest in each of their homes. But like, so I don't know, like, what's your take on that? Do you feel that a lot being from the AV world? Like, do you feel that sensation of like not having as much control? And like, what do you do for that? Like,
you actually, I've never heard that said before. And that's actually a really cool perspective because it does flip it on its head. And so much of the time, my immediate thought as you tell that story is, oh, you're right. The person's sitting in front of the window with the drapes open and it's blinding and all you see is the silhouette. But the two biggest takeaways I found is that maybe not as much now as it was even 6 months ago, but there's 8 to 10 times more conversations going on in order to plan an event. But the real overarching piece I think is really driven home is that we should have thought about in the first place is it's content is king. And if you don't have good content, forget about it.
Let's hear about one of our sponsors.
Hey, have you guys heard about what's going on in the Wild West? I was chatting with my friends over at Tourism Calgary the other day, and wow, they're actually investing over $1 billion into their events and hospitality industry.
Right, that's true. By 2024, I heard they'll have the biggest convention center in Western Canada with the expansion of their BMO center with another 500,000 square feet of space.
Calgary Stampeders could probably play there. Calgary is the 4th biggest Canadian city and a major destination for meetings and events. This is going to totally transform the city's ability to host big ticket events and accommodate large conventions.
But the convention center is only one part of the revitalized culture and entertainment district, which also includes another event center and the Stampede Trail Festival Street.
Oh, and don't forget the upgrades to the Stephen Avenue pedestrian walkway. So seize the date. Space is filling up fast.
Yeah, don't horse around. Contact Tourism Calgary at visitcalgary.com and be part of the energy.
And now back to the episode.
Let's shift this back to you guys. You are our first couple on our podcast and sitting side by side in obviously one shared space. But tell us a little bit about how you guys have managed both working at home, and you talk about these experiences and seeing people and everything else. Tell us, let us into the Beatty household. What does the last year and a half look like at home?
Is this how you guys?
We don't work in this. We don't work in this room together.
I was gonna say, is this how you work every day side by side like this?
No. Brent has had a few locations in the house. He was in our bedroom for a while, and it meant 24 hours a day in one room in the house. So we eventually did some changes downstairs and moved you downstairs. I've been home based for over 15 years. So I felt a real invasion of my office. I got to be honest.
Your office was in the living room, Jen, right? So
it was in the living room.
Front and center.
Yeah. And now I've got a room dedicated to it, but it was challenging because they'd all leave for work, right? Or school. So I'd be like, see ya, get my coffee, come upstairs, boom, boom, boom. And then the pandemic hit, and it was like everyone moved into my office, it seemed like. And
you got workmates to eat lunch with.
Well, what you mean workmates to eat lunch with? You mean I was making lunch for more people? I'm good with a bowl of cereal, but I had picky eaters going, okay, I'd like this. Oh, really? That's what we're having for lunch? And I'm like, look, I got an hour here, so I'm going to start throwing bread and water at you guys soon. But
we made this the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
So we had a grade 12 and a grade 9er here all the time. Yeah. Last year. Right. So it was, she didn't always make my lunch, although she did some days, which was
some days. Oh my God. Like I maybe missed it out.
It's starting.
It's all about the little touches, Jen. All the little experiences, remember?
I would bring it down to him because he'd have meetings conveniently over lunchtime. So I'd bring it down to him and it'd be a napkin and everything like this. And he'd always display it and go.
So I'm in the basement and we figured out how to hardwire finally internet and everything. So I'm in the basement on my setup. She's up here because we're both a smidge loud. So it's good to have space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there was a blip in the internet, you would hear yelling in the house. How many devices are on? Oh my God, shut it down. I'm on a Zoom call. And people would start yelling at each other.
Yeah.
I think to have a camera in your house in the last year would have been priceless. Or just a video camera just rolling.
It would have
Reality
been
show.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But you know what was really nice in the whole pandemic that I thought made things a little better because you're working from home is all of a sudden people, clients, colleagues, whomever you were talking to had a lot more patience, and you realized that we always tried to push the kids off to the side or something. And whereas my son would just barge into the room and still at 15 can't remember to knock and see if I'm busy. And I would just be like, oh, sorry, just a second. They're like, oh my God, no worries. Like I'm doing the same thing. So I just found it made everyone a little bit more human.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
It's been neat, like talking to people on Zoom, and you get to see into everybody's house, and we learn things about like MF. Just on this call, we learned that she's a big lover of loons. So who knew, right? Like you just never know.
Sorry, did you say balloons or loons?
Loons.
Well, I do hang out with these guys, so it explains a lot. That's about as best I can do on the spot. But no, I'm not home. I'm camping somewhere else right now.
So I have a question.
There's a little black dog in the background.
More on the serious side. So we all know, coming from single event prof households, what it was like when the pandemic hit, and it was devastating to us. But we maybe had spouses or others in different industries. What was it like coming from a 2-person event professional household when our industry just collapsed?
Yeah, I think in that regard, but you're right. The stress of being 2 people in an industry that people say, oh, are you working? What do you do? Oh yeah, we're in live events. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God. Are you doing anything? But it was amazing to me how fortunate, I consider us very fortunate that our company was allowed to focus more on the virtual side because we'd already had that pre-existing experience. And, it really worked out so well that I'm just so exceptionally grateful as far as that kind of component goes. And I don't know what your thoughts on your brain through all that.
I'd say tourism, as everyone knows, when things started happening and people were canceling, we were so busy trying to move and save programs and flip them another years and looking at the pace and all that type of stuff and seeing where we could fit programs in. So that kept us really, really busy. It was a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. I had a real grieving part. I grieved a lot in a sense because one, you couldn't open LinkedIn without seeing people who had just been let go or anything. So I felt like I was watching all these years that we had worked so hard just start to crumble. And I had a bit of I grieved. I totally grieved. I went through all the stages. I think I grieved. I was angry. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, let's how do we rectify this now? But we did try all sorts of things. It's lunchtime. Let's try 15-minute couples yoga. I saw it online.
Yeah, we did try that.
I think that lasted like a week.
Oh, this is better than I hoped for.
Yeah. Can we see some of that? Let's see some.
And then it was like, oh my God. So all these people are getting really fit. Let's get fit. Yeah. We weren't that couple. No. We were the ones. We were not that. I was like, let's learn to make homemade pretzels. Started painting. I did crocheting.
And we learned that game night at dinner was
violent.
Yeah, it was. There was certain personalities much younger than us that really thought they knew all the rules and were dictating how to play Monopoly properly.
Yeah, I quit playing board games with my family long ago because all of them just make up their own rules.
Oh no, I swear.
Yeah, this is the way you
no. Oh no.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any rules? Do you have any rules around shop talk and just maybe before the pandemic and now of what what's allowed and what's not allowed?
I
Oh.
have rules.
My rule is she should refer me at all. No.
No, I have rules. I don't like to talk shop talk. So pre-pandemic, when Brent got home from work, he would come in and he'd be in his suit and he'd be walking in and be like, "Oh, what's that in the sink?" to the kids or blah blah blah, and I'd be like, "Whoa." I'm like, "Go upstairs and change your clothes and come down.
Take your boss outfit off.
I'm not dealing with this." But I have.
Jen, was that your Brent Beatty impression there? I was a little confused.
You're
Yeah.
pretty much
Oh,
in
no.
I heard your voice deepen a little bit.
I can do a Brent Beatty impression. But no, he just. Yeah, I have rules. You like to talk work and I like to talk work, but it's more, I'd say our issues are more when we're with friends in the industry. We talk work too much because we did shut it down. Otherwise, that's all you talk about. It's all you talk about.
But I think too that, you know, when you have that person in your life, and they don't have to be a partner, they can just be a colleague or a friend that gets how you think. And I remember when, long before, when I first started with Evanston Tourism, we were a couple of years in, and she was with Travel Alberta, and, you know, spitballing ideas off trade show booths, what do we want to do at Incentive Works, and, you know, coming up with ideas. It's great to have somebody as your better half, and she truly is, that you can kind of throw things by. And I'm thinking, you know, just I got this situation, and I'm wondering what's your kind of thought. And, you know, I mean, my eldest son is doing a double major in psychology and philosophy. And so last week I was in Montreal, and I was tossing around a question with him about some stuff. And honestly, it was around vacation and how people through COVID have not really disengaged and gone on vacation. And so it was great to get his thoughts as the philosopher and the psychologist, right? To kind of, and he would come back and go, "Okay, Dad, so if you phrase it like that almost kind of sounds like it's accusatory, like they're not doing something. And is that really what you're trying to ask?" And so the same thing with Jen, you just have those kind of conversations. I need that confidential bubble sounding board. Am I on the right track with these thoughts, or how should I attack this kind of challenge? And because as a leader, your challenges are so much different than being in things, right? So
For sure. So we're going to switch gears for a minute, and we're going to inaugurate you into our famous rapid fire Crazy 8 questions. You guys ready?
Couples edition.
Couples edition.
So you want us to like yell and answer at the same time, or?
Normally we ask you to take turns. Maybe
We're gonna ask you to hold up cards like the
like the newlywed game.
Like the dating game thing.
Yeah, the newlywed game. No, but how about Jen? How about you start, and then Brent and I, why don't you follow?
Okay.
So number 1, live to eat or eat to live?
Live to eat. Wait, live to eat. Why is it so simple things I have to really think about? I'm going to live to eat, or I'm going to eat to live. Can I just say both?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's against the rules. You gotta pick one.
Do you love to eat for the sake of it, or you just do it to get a task off your list?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Wow, that's easy. I do it to get a task off my
She totally
list.
does.
So you
Thank you for rephrasing the question.
You eat to live. Okay, perfect.
And I would say I eat to live. No, but when I was younger, I used to live to eat, and especially when it came to dessert, vanilla ice cream, Hershey's chocolate sauce, and orange juice on top. It's fantastic.
Orange juice. What?
It's like a Hershey vanilla float.
It curdles and it looks really gross.
Oh. Well, now I know why
No.
you eat to live.
I'm
Okay,
a big
great.
ice cream guy, and I've never heard of that.
So what time do you typically get up?
7:30 for me.
Okay, that's a normal time.
Pre-COVID it was 7. In COVID it's 8.
Perfect. You're the first couple of people
Who hasn't gotten up
who
at
hasn't
5
said like
a.m.
5 a.m.
Exactly.
Why would you get up at 5 a.m.? We've already clarified we're not working out. we can only have 2 cups of coffee, so
Isn't that the best time to do couples yoga at 5 a.m.?
So plans or no plans?
Plans.
Oh, okay. Plans?
Yeah.
I see it.
I would have totally pegged you guys as a no plans.
Yeah, I
have
would
a lot
have
of things to coordinate.
I'm surprised,
Yeah.
Brent. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, what are we doing this weekend? Or what are we doing here tonight? And yeah, no, I like things planned. It's the only way I can stay organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So personal trainer or personal chef?
Personal chef.
I have a personal chef, so I'll take the personal trainer.
Oh, look, it's the first time that you get
That was
both.
good.
Right? But that is
Perfect.
our thing. She cooks and I clean.
They
That's
tell
our
me,
thing.
they tell me it's 90% of what you put into your body. So if I had a chef cooking for me, I wouldn't have to like really have a personal trainer.
I agree. I think
Right.
that's a good call.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like the thought process.
Deep thoughts with Jen Beatty, right there.
Yeah.
So, what sense out of your 5 senses do you rely on the most?
Oh, the 5 cents. So I can't make up my own sense.
You could make one up.
5 cents.
Oh, my gut.
25 cents.
My
Yeah,
gut.
Got
I like it.
you like? Sorry, was that a
I'm
quick?
going to say your smell because you're really all about that lately.
We have a new dog that
Mm.
He's a Frenchie. Anyone who knows Frenchies, just Google the top traits of a Frenchie and you'll understand why.
Okay.
but if you're, I don't know if I was going to say heart feelings is feelings. What is feelings? What am I saying?
Wow.
I don't know.
Empathy.
Deep.
Empathy. Like I can cry at a Home Depot commercial, and I'm not kidding. I'm not talking Tim Hortons. Oh my God! Look at those 2x4s. That is so beautiful. Yeah.
The Tim Hortons commercials used to bring him to tears, and we'd be sitting there, and I'd be like, "Come
Yeah.
on."
And the kids would always lean in. Are you crying? Is you crying?
They look for it, yeah.
I'm crying. Okay. I'm crying.
Oh. All right. So number 6, truth or dare?
Truth is important. Truth.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with the truth.
Really? Again, I would have pegged Brent for a dare. You seem like a daring type.
I learned that Brent is sensitive. Is overly sensitive.
Chicken on the show.
Yeah. No truth. Definitely. Doesn't mean
This
we're
episode
wrong.
sponsored by Birds Unlimited.
Exactly.
Younger, I would have gone with dare. Older you get,
Okay.
it's just
It's true.
All right.
Straight up.
All right. Now, excluding this present circumstances of COVID, night in or night out?
out. Oh, sorry, you were supposed to go first.
But I like the enthusiasm. It's great.
I like to entertain.
Yes.
So in.
Yeah, I'm in. I rather entertain than go out and have someone
Oh,
entertain.
I feel like I got busted as a liar.
Oh.
But like when you say in, I think in like
just
around
you two, yeah,
TV,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
I like
lots
the
of that.
interpretations. That's why we leave them open-ended.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. I'll stay in to watch F1.
I
and then
like
go
I
outside
like people to
and
come here to be entertained. So it's
Okay.
a night out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a mix.
Yeah.
And last but not least, are you surviving or thriving in the status quo?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And we'll say currently because I'm sure there's been some ups and downs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling right now.
I'm going to say thriving, but like in different areas now, right?
Okay.
So I'm thriving in different areas from before. So if we're talking right now in COVID, I think COVID's taught a lot of people new things about themselves. So I'd say I'm thriving.
I wanted to be funny and say so thriving, but you got to survive.
We got a couple laughs.
I thank you. Yeah, it's a
I'll
bit of
always laugh.
it's a tough room.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say I would agree on the thriving side. I really kind of dug what how I've grown in the past 18 months. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, knowing how you answered that question, I'm curious because we've got you from two different parts of the industry, representing a destination and AV company. With everything you've seen in the last year and a half, kind of give us your one takeaway. What's the industry going to look like in the next year? What is your biggest, mind-blowing idea for the industry that you could share and kind of leave us off with?
Jeez, that's a loaded question, Ryan.
I know. It's neat because we've got
We heard that Ryan is the
same
one who
business.
eggs you on and you want to slap him sometimes. So
Yeah,
he's
it's so
working at
true,
it.
right? It's like he kind of knows how to poke me.
Well, and I was just going to say, Jen, because you're very realistic sometimes, so realistic that, you and I have almost come to blows at times, but we always at the end get along. So I like how you push things, but I like how you're real. And I see as Brent more the dreamer type. So I'm kind of curious what your answers would be to this.
Okay,
We got the realist and the dreamer.
I'll be honest. I think being in this side of the industry, my head goes in a couple of different directions. I think what's going to come out of this is I think there will. It's going to be like 12 months ago. There are going to be the people that just like the staid and the true and the regular old stuff, and then there will be those people that are going to be the people that stretch us and push us and really do. When you walk into their event, you're going to go, holy Hannah banana, and oh my gosh, I've been waiting to see something like this. And I think we need both kinds of people in this world, those that keep us steady and grounded and make us in a sense feel safe. And so I love those folks, but I also want to be pulled into this thing with the most of the time it's the emerging people. As the elder statesman on this call and in this room.
Very smart.
You're not looking at though, Brent. That's a very youthful haircut you've got going on.
Well, I'm going for, I don't know what I'm going for. Maybe it's the 80s John Stamos.
Or a hockey flow.
Yeah, it's the hockey flow. Yeah. No, but I think that's what you've always seen is you've seen that emerging planner is the one that is wanting to make their impact, climb that ladder, take the next step to be the recognized person. But that's the part that is always kind of cool. But I really dig the senior elder statesman and woman, I guess, person that is the one that says, I'm not just going to stay status quo. I like the person that pushes it. And so I didn't really give you an answer, to be honest.
Can I push you a little bit on that?
I forgot the question with that.
Well, I kind of want to push you on this, and I want to see, like, especially from the technology side, do you think for a way of putting it, that there'll be any casualties all along the way, like people who are just going to get left behind?
Yeah. I think they already have.
It's a debate, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think one of the most interesting things I've seen through all this is the people that have said, maybe it's time for me to get out of this industry.
Yeah.
Because I needed a job. I wasn't working, whatever. We've seen that in our world, pardon me. And we've lost some people that have actually gone to follow their passion, which is super cool, and this happened recently. Somebody went, you know what, this is my passion. I think I'm just going to leave this behind and fly and soar. And I'm like, that's so super cool.
It's interesting. I've been on both sides of this. And when I was on the virtual event side, I thought, how cool is this? I couldn't wait to get back to face-to-face to bring a lot of this stuff back. And I've been back in face-to-face for just 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats.
And not much has changed. And my clients I talked to are asking for the same.
Tim, I was going to say the same
I
thing.
find that so depressing.
It is. It's a little bit scary. Because
I think it's going to take time for the change to come in. We need to get everybody back, get the money flowing again, and then I think the change is going to take some time.
Well, it's like a pendulum, right? We went to one extreme, so now people are going to overcorrect into the other side, and maybe we'll find a place in the middle. I don't know. Is that a way to look at it?
I was ready to get hit with all these great new questions and provide my expertise, and it was like the clients I've met with it's like nothing ever changed.
Okay, Jen. So you're in the destination world right now, and you've worked in a few different companies within the industry. But what do you think? Like, what's the big takeaway from all this? What are things going to look like? I wouldn't say 6 months from now, not even a year from now. Like, I'm thinking a couple years down the road. What's going to be the big shift?
Okay, so if there's anything, and I'm sure Brent will agree when I say this, because I've come downstairs and I've never had to fight so hard for business. And I love doing business. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do is strategizing and putting together that plan and how we're going to, take something from here to finish. So for me, when it comes to destination, I've never had to be so creative in my life. I feel rejuvenated in a sense with the industry. It's not just space, dates, and rates anymore. Like, and we talk about relationships so much in our industry. Relationships are so important, and we know that. The relationship always just gets you in the door, and then the rest comes to what you are offering and what you're putting together and stuff like that. It comes down to the business. And I think that's becoming more important than it ever has. And I can only speak for myself, but I can do business without crazy gifts and stuff like that anymore. It's really shown me that we can do business and we can get right down to it, and really strategize and give a better offering to the client by the communication going back and forth. So it's just been digging deeper and working harder. So it's really re-energized me in the industry. And I love destinations. Like, that's my passion. So yeah.
That's good. I think I look forward to the days where I can come up with a strategy and not have to change it a month later, because that's what's happened all the way through.
Yeah. But that's the whole thinking on your feet, right?
Yeah,
so and I'm constantly thinking in my head, okay, so yeah, sure, we can look at a program for this and what could happen, because none of us expected to be here right now, right? Like, still, we're talking about a fourth wave. We've had so many people vaccinated, and it's just continuous. So as quick as you're taking 5 steps forward, you're taking like 10 steps backwards, it feels like. So that whole having to get creative is not just in the moment, it's thinking of that next step. So it's going, okay, so it could go this way or this way. How can we strategize that? And that's all I really feel we're digging deeper and we're working harder.
And we're certainly not taking it for granted anymore. Events are no longer inevitable, right?
Well,
oh my God, bring me to an event and give me that wine that I say.
That's why I'm looking forward to April. Just today, Tete-a-Tete came out in April. So April's going to be a good month. We got the event too in April. It's going to be like, we just got to get to April and see what some of these industry events look like now. And I can actually speak just an aside. We had 15 industry people for an in-person meeting in our hotel today. For Ottawa tourism, and it was the energy in that room of the 15 DOSs and GMs was incredible. Like, you could tell we hadn't done a face-to-face meeting like that in almost 2 years. So it won't take us long to get back on it.
Oh no, it's great. I think the whole having conversations again and getting back into it, like you're saying, is just, that's what we're made of, right? Like,
but that's where I think the ideas are going to come together when we get back and we start to actually do a few things. I think we're going to go back to what we know, and then we're quickly going to shift to a whole different way of producing events.
Thanks for being part of the Illuminate Project podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
To carry on the conversation, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at IlluminateProj with an 8.
Switch your mindset, stay creative, and we challenge you to not just survive, but thrive in the status quo.